Hello, this is the Nightline Podcast. My name's James Pikeway, and if you want to learn more about the program, please go to www.dubai1038.com or email us, nightline@dubai1038.ae. Enjoy the show. Imtishan is here, Shazad is here. Imtishan, we broke him.
We've broken him.
We've done it.
My work here is done.
I shall be silent for the rest of this radio show.
But you've just not been silent. You've just failed at your own...
the rest of the radio show.
When is this going to start?
I'm now officially sulking.
Motoring Middle East is in the house. If you're wondering what you're listening to, it is Cartalk, which means,
They're wondering what they're listening to because they didn't get the boom, boom, boom at the beginning of the show.
He put it, okay.
See, if you have to explain it, it's not cool anymore.
Let's...
How about a boom, boom, boom quota?
It's amazing how the show all about cars has just digressed into the intro.
Well, that's
music.
the norm, isn't it? Isn't that the norm with this show?
I love having you guys around because you just never know what's going to happen.
Neither do we.
Talk about cars.
Well, and I need to apologize to Sean because last week...
Don't apologize to him, especially.
Hey, I'm right here.
It's begun.
Last week, you had taken it upon yourself the burden of flying to the U.S.
Tough life.
and burden of driving around all sorts of different canyons and burger joints and Route 66 and stuff. And we never spoke about the vehicle that you were burdened with.
It was a great burden. It was a great burden, but a lovely drive.
Tell us about it.
So I was driving the GMC Acadia.
We've seen some of those here already, correct?
Yes, they have been here. Actually, I've been on the hot weather testing. You watched the video on our YouTube channel, Motoring Middle East, and it was really a chance to drive the final finished car for the first time, which is always nice. So Acadia is quite a bit to talk about, actually. It's a whole lot lighter. They shifted the car now to the new Cadillac XT5 platform.
So everything now of
all new.
I mean, the Cadillac platform, though, has really become the...
It's a lot lighter. It's more intuitive. It's joie de vivre. Yes, it is. It's not made in France, but it is made in somewhere in the US. It's a very, very impressive vehicle from the point of view. It's very modern, very fresh. The styling can be a little subjective. I think it looks quite smart. I think it looks quite fresh and modern. Some people say it looks a little plain. I think what they told me from a styling standpoint was they wanted to make the car less aggressive and less haunchy and less sort of off-roady. They want to make it more stylish and urban. So
does that suit GMC? Because GMC is supposed to be sort of big and tough and rugged.
I like the grille. It's got the big tough grill on it, so it looks okay. It looks pretty good, actually. It's got the sort of the C-shaped headlights that you get in the more expensive Sierra. So it's a pretty good-looking car, and it's very practical. So it comes in a variety of trims and forms, from SLE, I believe, all the way up to Denali. So it starts at about, let me pull up my notes, I think 135 going up to a 205. So quite a big difference. You've got three...
So this is a big, seven-seater, isn't it?
It's three different trims, 5, 6, and 7.
Wow.
Okay, so the 135 is the 5-seater.
Yeah, and there's the Denali is actually a 6-seater, so in the middle you have the two captain's chairs replacing the normal bench, and of course
nice.
2 seats at the back, and then you have a 7-seat option as well. So all of them have the same engine. It's a 3.6 V6. Again, it's the XT5 motor. It's a 6-speed auto, and the reason for that is the XT5 should get the 8-speed because it's the more expensive car. It's a Cadillac. Other than that, the 6-speeds are good. It's a good drivetrain. It's actually pretty good. It has cylinder deactivation, so it turns off 3 cylinders. It's very fresh and very modern to drive, so it feels like a really nice family car.
Yeah.
If you were sort of buying an estate before, you would look at this. All those people buying Patrols and Prados should be looking at a car like this because this is better on gas. It's more roomy. It's got more toys. It's got CarPlay, Android Auto, although I'm only supposed to say that it's got Android Auto because they haven't got the CarPlay certification yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's coming. It's coming, though.
It's coming, so they have to say that...
they have, because they announced it. Well, they were, at the thing I was at today, which we'll talk about in a minute, they were saying...
well, in that case, they've figured it out now.
I think so.
But it's a very, very nice car. The ride's pretty good. Don't get the one with the massive wheels, obviously, but get the smaller wheels. But even the 20s, it was fun. It has sort of magnetic suspension, but it's like a mechanical thing. Got lots
sort of magnetic suspension, but it's mechanical thing.
It's very complicated. I can bore everybody. It's called CVCS, continuously variable something system.
Sounds to me like another piece to break.
You know what? We took it off-road, actually. It was a great rally car. A lot of fun with it.
Okay.
They have an all-terrain trim, which actually has a really clever axle that like sends torque to either wheel and stuff. And it's... Why would you buy that one? I mean, you're not going to go off-road in it. We took it to Leva in Dubai, and it did the dunes, but why would you do that? Just get the regular one. It's a really, really nice...
You did drive this thing up in Leva in the dunes?
Yep.
An Acadia?
Acadia.
Wow.
It was okay.
That's quite impressive, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a pretty good four-wheel drive system. So it'll handle the beach. It'll climb on curbs and that sort of thing. But apart from that, it was just a really decent, sorted car. Everything works, everything's simple, easy to pick up. And within 2 minutes, you've mastered this car, which is what you want in a family car.
Well, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because so much, I mean, how often, Shazad, do we spend trying to figure out this thing and that thing, and then it doesn't quite work, and then we're,
then we just get out in a half leaf.
Then we feel ripped off because something's not working.
We did nearly 1,000 kilometers from Phoenix to Vegas in this car, and I can pay it no greater compliment as a road trip vehicle in that we had 7 passengers, because I had camera crew in the back as well, and virtually everybody, apart from me, of course, was asleep.
Wow.
That's how comfortable it is. Everybody was asleep.
They were trying to film you, and you put them to sleep.
I started explaining how the CBCS system works, and they were all. And the guy was like, "Yeah, that's a good take. We don't want to do that again. We're fine." That's what he kept. He kept saying that a lot. I don't know what the deal was. I think I was just nailing it every time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Hashtag flawless.
There we go. So we got a whole bunch more to talk about. If you're wondering what you've been listening to, clearly this is Cartalk. And before we move on, the Acadia, if someone said to you, okay, you know what, this is the car that you're going to get, this is it, would you be happy?
I would say buy with confidence. It's a really, really solid family car with a lot of prestige behind it and looks really good.
And do you think there'll be any holdover from the last version of it, which was okay, but...
Well, funny enough, we kept coming across the last one because it's very popular. It's based on the old Lambda platform. That was a very popular car in the US. There are a lot of spin-offs of it. But the interior feels old now. Those cars actually are still pretty good looking, but then the interior just feels, it's got a lot of circular shapes and a lot of sort of horseshoe shaped dashboards, and it's just 2000s design and 2000s switchgear, whereas this feels fresh, modern.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like if you want to buy a new car and feel like that you've bought a new car, not like an old car with a good price. That's the difference.
There we go. That's the Acadia. You've heard it, and we can go look at reviews and more on Motoring Middle East. So there you go. We got a whole bunch more to talk about. Motoring Middle East. That's Shazad and Imtishan. They are in the house. We're talking cars. If you've got questions, you know how to get in touch. He's really embraced that we turned him off, Imtishan.
It's so refreshing. It's been so many years since I've had this much quiet.
I'm still not talking.
The Malibu was
now you see, just trying to get me to talk.
It was relaunched.
Just put you on the spot because I can't talk about the Malibu.
It was relaunched.
Yes, it's not relaunched. It's a whole new car.
Yeah, well,
relaunched implies that they've given it a wash and they're putting it back out.
You actually went to our last Malibu launch, so you are now officially a Malibu specialist.
I'm a veteran. I'm a Malibu veteran. Malibu. Yeah, I'm a Boo veteran.
So they've basically.
Oh, please don't.
Are they trying to erase our memory of the old Malibu? Which was
I don't know. Well, a new car will do that by itself because it's a good-looking car. Good-looking car. Very good-looking car, actually.
You said it fits into the market in a beautiful segmented spot.
Well, it is going into, let's be honest, one of the fiercest Ford segments of all. We're talking, Camry, Altima, and in Saudi Arabia, particularly the Sonata, which is absolutely dominating that market.
Which I find that hard to believe, but okay.
But so you have the Hyundai Sonata, then you have this car, which is an all-new car. So it's not refreshed, it's not facelifted. The Malibu is a new car based on one of their new platforms. It gets the 2.5, 186 brake horsepower, 4-cylinder engine out of the Cadillac ATS. It's longer. It's got more space inside. It's got a big boot for the segment. It's very well equipped, and it's priced at the same starting price as a Hyundai Sonata.
You're joking.
So why would you buy a Sonata?
Why would you buy a Sonata?
At a stroke, they could well have killed that dominance from Hyundai. Wow. And the icing on the cake, and again, I can't corroborate this because these are stats and numbers that were given to us in the press briefing this morning, which I did Facebook Live, and you can see them on Motoring Middle East Facebook page. They demonstrated to us that this car over 100,000 kilometers is significantly cheaper, and even going so far as to saying it's going to cost you about half the price of running a Toyota Camry over that period of time, which is absolutely extraordinary.
That's a big claim.
That's a huge claim, because if that is the case, this will become the new taxi.
It could well be. It could well, but it's so good. It's so much. It's a good-looking car. It's too good-looking to be a taxi. I think it's. I mean, I like the Impala. I really do, and it has that same sort of front look about it. It's got that very angular, very sleek look. It's a very elegant machine. I confused it
for an Impala when I was looking at your video.
To be honest, I confused it for an Impala. As I saw an Impala going down the road, I thought it was part of our convoy, but it wasn't. It was an Impala. Somebody did ask the question. It's like, where does that leave the Impala? Because this is almost as spacious and as big
but that's the V6
as an Impala. It's a bigger engine. That's right. Well, I think they wouldn't confirm, but in America you do get a 2-liter turbo with 250 horsepower, and I think that will come later, probably next year, once they get this car up and running. But I think as a new entrant in that segment, I think it's going to come out fighting. I think it's a good-looking car, great package, and actually not bad to drive either. Actually quite entertaining. The understeer has been all but dismissed in this car. The ride is very good. It's got good sound insulation, good refinement.
Does it have a good stereo?
It has a banging stereo. It has a Bose sound system in it, and if you get the top of the range, the LTZ, which the price of the top of the range car is 95. So it goes from 69,900 up to 95 for the bells and whistles, for everything, and it gets a larger screen as well, and it gets driver's aids, and it gets
for 95.
Yeah, it gets cross traffic alert, gets the lane keeping assist, it gets all of that stuff. Everything is on there, and that's for 95. So if you think 69,
Imtishan and I just took a look at each other and said, "What?"
Exactly. I mean, we're talking like between
seems implausible.
Yeah, 69,900 to 95. You only talk about another 15 grand on your finance plan if you're thinking, let's just go for the whole thing. Which
the main thing is the Korean cars, the Korean competition, their main problem has always been that they are desirable from a design standpoint, but then when you drive the cars, they're just very candy floss. There's no flavor, there's no taste. It's just there.
And you get in, you sit down, and again, they look nice.
Yeah. Everything looks good. The prices are amazing. The kit's amazing.
And then
you
start
sit in the car
touching
and
the dash. You start looking at some of the electronics, and you're kind of going, yeah, well.
So this is where I think this car has an edge, because there is that feel of, work has gone into this car, engineering has gone into this car, innovation
we know
has
that
gone
GM
into
does a ton of engineering on these cars.
And we know there's the work that they do here. In fact, Ronaldo, your friend and my friend, with which you did the hot weather video both on the Acadia and we did earlier on the Cadillac, he was there at lunch with us today, and he'd been working on this car, and you know how much miles and how much stress they put in. We're going to turn him into a star one of these days.
He is a star. He's going to be a trailer one of these days.
Great.
He's a fantastic driver as well, as I evidence the fact that I nearly kept my luncheon last time I went with him. But I like the people are putting effort into cars.
It's really showing respect for us, the consumer, us, the driver.
It's just so easy to turn out yet another car.
Yeah, easy. I mean, the automotive companies are professionals at doing that.
I think people are not only aware of the fact that the Koreans are no longer underdogs, but are now dominating some of the segments.
Is that overdogs?
They're not. Well, I don't know if they're
Wonderdogs.
Wonderdogs. Super dogs. They're super dogs. No, but the new underdogs, of course, are the Chinese, right? And we talked about the Chinese car recently because we've tested one, and they're coming along. They really are,
What did you say? 5 years behind where the Koreans were?
The Koreans were at this. Yeah, so that's what I would say. But then you look at the bigger manufacturers, such as the GMs and the Chryslers, and to a large extent, the Japanese should also be looking at them. The Americans and the Germans should also be looking at them and going, well, you know what? We have to give our cars high content, lower entry-level prices, but keep their integrity of engineering and build that they are known for. And more
importantly, keep that flavor, which leads me into a very nice segue, if I'm right.
Yes.
Which is manufacturers that are showing contempt for their audience, and I shall now name our number one candidate, which just debuted their new car at the Paris Motor Show with Land Rover, because they've got the new Discovery, which just came out, the 2017 Discovery. And this is an all-new car.
I think I saw one of them on the road today. No, I think I saw one.
Well, they're driving it around.
Okay.
It's doing testing here. But this is a car that is no longer a Discovery. It is a lifestyle tool to go to the mall.
Yeah.
And that's about it. But the old Discovery was an off-road legend. Now, I'm not saying it has to be only an off-road car, but it's in the DNA. It's Land Rover. And this new car, now look, they've got the pie charts, they've got the computer modeling diagram saying we've improved this angle and that angle. But let's be honest, they don't want you driving this car off-road. In fact, Land Rover doesn't even let us drive cars off-road. So at the end of the day, who is this car for? What happened to the flavor of Land Rover? And again, it's going to be expensive and it's going to have all of the dancing whistles and toys, but it's more Range Rover than Land Rover. So why does that happen?
Do you think it's going to be a petrol rival? Is that what it's trying to be?
It's 7-seater, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll probably be better to drive than a new petrol. I mean, it's got 3 liters supercharged V6. It's fully modern, up to date.
Supercharged V6.
It'll have diesels.
Yeah, but don't have a V8 anymore.
The V8s are dead.
Well, even the petrol's getting rid of the V8.
That's true.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's making it just more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's pushing it towards richer people. But the Discovery really annoys me.
So Land Rovers are no longer off-roaders then?
No. Look, I'm sure it'll do off-road. I'm sure that we will go on a launch and we will see the car going off-road through ridiculous obstacles and all of that. But I can take note of the fact
It's not the good old days, though.
I drove that Discovery Sport in Iceland, and it did it, but it wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't something that I would do every day. You know, I wouldn't drive down to Fossil Rock.
I'm just trying to imagine the voice in my head. Oh, all right, then I'll do it then, but I'm not going to enjoy this.
I mean, we were driving up a volcano.
Oh, must we?
Yeah.
No, all right.
The hard life of an automotive journalist.
But then the car got us there, and you were like, normally you get out of the car, you're like, wow, that was an amazing trip. You're my pal. And look at this car. I was like, I'm here.
I've got you here then. Can I take you back down now?
Let's go to the hut and get some coffee.
Someone is listening right now going, so you drove up a volcano, you got to the top in this car, and was it inclement weather? I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh, it was horrific weather.
Yeah, and you got there, and you made it in a snowstorm in this car. Someone's going, I'll buy that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they plowed the course. So, it wasn't that I pushed through 6 feet of snow.
Snowplows in front of you.
It was a Defender with a snowplow on the front. So, because the Defender was there, we were able to get through. Basically, actually, this illustrates my point perfectly. Because we got stuck in a snowstorm and we landed in Reykjavik, and we were a little convoy of Discovery Sports. And the reason
you got lost, didn't you?
We got very lost, but we managed to regroup at a nearby KFC. So that was our beacon.
There's a KFC there?
There was a KFC in Reykjavik. So that's how we made sure that we found us. Look for the KFC. It's the only one. And we just hid there for a bit in the snowstorm. And we had a very senior person, Land Rover, shall not be named. So we had to rescue him and by extension us then.
There we go.
And we formed a little makeshift convoy. And guess what were the cars leading us? It wasn't Discovery Sports. It was a Defender. A Defender was way back. It was actually an LR4.
Wow.
With a whopping great light bar on the front and a big steel bumper pushing the snow.
Wow.
I'm not seeing a steel bumper happening on this Land Rover Discovery.
No, it doesn't look like the steel bumper would work on that.
It doesn't
car,
look like you can modify it.
No.
Because all the old Land Rovers are still kicking around, still being kept alive by the enthusiasts.
Yeah.
They're turning these cars into overlanders.
Well, that's what it was. You know, when you start looking at
it's
some of these
modular.
vehicles,
you could play with them.
They were fun. They were indestructible.
I mean, they weren't the most reliable things in the world.
Of course not. We've spoken about this.
But at the same time, despite the unreliability, despite the Britishness of the engineering, people love these cars. I don't know if people will love the new Discovery the same way, or the Discovery Sport. In 10 years, are people going to be modifying them and turning them into rat rods or, stuffing their dogs into them? No. They'll just be looking at
they're not going to be cheap either.
And that's what I mean with the Land Rover flavor goes out of them.
Where does it leave Range Rover? Because Range Rover is supposed to be the expensive, luxury SUV. But if Land Rovers are now also going to be the expensive luxury SUVs, then what's the differentiation?
It's got the steering wheel from the Range Rover. So for all intents and purposes, you've got this weird hybrid interior of Discovery Sport, Range Rover steering wheel, and I don't know what else. I mean, it's really weird.
I wonder if they're planning to get rid of one of these lines and just say
no. They're selling all of them. They'll sell all of them. Well, they're good-looking cars. They're really good-looking cars.
They're converging. They're not diverging.
But you say that. But on the other hand, okay, so you think you own this company. You're whatever. You own JLR. You own Jaguar and Land Rover.
You're billionaires. You can do whatever you want.
You got Range Rover that do SUVs. You got Land Rover that do SUVs. You got Jaguar that do really cool cars.
And now an SUV.
No. They do SUVs
let's
as well.
Let's make Jaguar do an SUV as well. And we're like, hang on. So no, I think there's going to be more of them. I don't think there's going to be less.
Does this car not look like, some of you are Googling it, the Land Rover Explorer?
You know what? No, exactly. That
was the Land Rover Explorer.
That was the thing that I saw
by Jaguar
today.
Land Rover.
This was part of what I saw today. I saw this Explorer, and then I see this Discovery, and I'm going, man, they look really similar.
It's really painfully close. And I don't think it's intentional.
The Discovery you saw would have been the Discovery Sport, the one that's already here. So that's the smaller one.
And
this one
just put the photocopy 30% bigger one.
And the Discovery Sport, I swear, I had to take a second look because I'm going, it looks just. They were right in front of each other, so it was like I was following them both, going, there's a lot of similarities between these vehicles.
No, it's the same car.
So 30% larger.
And the old LR4 was such a good-looking car. When it came out in 03, 04, I believe. Yeah. I remember the first pictures thinking, wow, Land Rover nailed it. That is solid British engineering, but it looks like a Discovery should. It looked like a 70s moon buggy. It was amazing.
I saw one of those today, and I was going, like, no. I saw one of those today, and I was just going, man, it's in such great shape.
And it has aged very well as well.
That is it. I think now, at this moment, those vehicles look fantastic.
And they've got those weird sort of opera windows in the top as well, so you can see through the sky. And just like a Defender does, it has that Land Rover history. Whereas the new car has a D in the back where you can tap with your wristband and open the car.
Hey? What?
That's so basically when you go swimming, you can lock the key in the car. You put your waterproof.
You lock the key in the car.
I know you're not going to trust this.
No.
You barely trust automatic steering. No. And then you go and tap the D with your wristband and the car unlocks.
See, now that's cool.
What if you lock your wristband in the car?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Why are you taking all these things off in the car?
Hang on. So this is for like going to the beach or something. What if the wristband is wet?
It's fine. It's waterproof.
It's waterproof.
It's waterproof.
Oh.
And can you put money on it if you go to Wild Wadi?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Does it double as a Wild Wadi pass?
So this is a Land Rover that goes to water parks. Is that the extent of its
That's pretty much
off-roading?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
This is Cartalk, by the way, if you're wondering what you're listening to. Motoring Middle East is here. We're taking your calls and texts about cars. Shazad Nimtishan are here from Motoring Middle East. We really, truly have silenced the beast.
The beast is outside, by the way. You should take a look at this.
I'm looking forward to it. 4001, by the way, is the SMS line. 044231010. Esther is standing by to take your calls if you want to get involved in the program. Messages come through about the Infiniti QX70 model 2015 4x4 type. They want to know what kind of price, but they also want to know, what do you think? How is it?
Which one's the QX70
That's the FX.
Again?
I already looked it up because that's the first thing.
So thanks for translation.
First thing I had to do, it's the FX. Yeah, no, a really good car. I really like them. I think they're really good fun to drive for an SUV. Their handling is fantastic and the performance is very good as well.
No, this is the 5-seater?
Yeah, the 5-seater. So this is the old FX 50, FX 35, that one, yeah.
The FX is now the QX70. Okay.
Now it's the QX70.
I get
that's right, yeah.
I get it.
Now, so it's a really good SUV, and in its time, it was one of the best-selling ones around, and it still has a good presence, got good style, and it's fun to drive. However, it is feeling a bit old now. You know, it's feeling a bit long in the tooth.
Is this vehicle going to be the vehicle that the old Lexuses that we see, the 450s and the 350s that do the Abu Dhabi cruise?
Yeah.
Is this vehicle going to appeal to those buyers as well?
It can do that, but it was a more sporty proposition. It was a more sort of go-getting sort of thing. It was sort of the BMW of that sort of world. You know, it's like, it's always on a charge. It wants to get places fast, sort of thing. You know, and which made it a very entertaining car to drive. You know,
I think it comes from a time when Infiniti knew what they wanted to be.
Yeah.
They wanted to be a Japanese BMW, and the car feels very confident in the way the previous gen G35 also felt very confident, and it really knew what it was. I actually drove the new Q50, didn't I? The new Red Sport 400.
That's right, yeah.
With the new twin-turbo V6.
But that's not an SUV, that's a saloon. We're talking about saloon now.
That's a saloon.
So the QXs are SUVs and the Qs are saloons or hatchbacks, whatever, that sort of stuff. But so this car, I would say it's a really good car. Price 2015. I mean, if you're buying it,
new, 2015.
Yeah, if you're buying it from a dealer, then haggle hard. If you're buying it used, then
haggle even harder.
Take off about 30-35% of the price. So that's what it will be, first year depreciation. But I really like the car. I think it's a really good car. But if you're in the market for a brand new Infiniti, then it's going to feel a bit old compared to those cars. But I agree with Imtishan. I think this was when Infiniti were carving out their own character and their own personality. It wasn't just a rebadged Nissan. It was actually an Infiniti.
Yeah, I think Infiniti and Acura both share the same problem in that they're not sure what their identity is. And they're still trying to find. I think Lexus has finally sort of figured out what they're going to be now. And they're going to be these purveyors of weird bionic animals cars, but they're cool, and they're getting there. They got the style, they got the design, they definitely got a direction. Whereas Infiniti and Acura are both a bit lost in the wilderness. Like I couldn't tell you what Infiniti stands for, and I really would like to, because the new Q50 was a fine enough car, but again they put a twin turbo V6 into it.
Yeah.
And that should turn it into a rocket ship sports car. But it's not really there. It's still a little bit soft. Not to say that it's a bad car by any means. It's a lot of performance for the money. And it's pretty comfortable. And it's got a really nice version 2 steering system, that weird non-assist steering.
The fly-by-wire.
It's a fly-by-wire system. So actually there's no physical steering column anymore.
Yeah. No, it exists.
No, it's a backup
not connected.
Thing, but they're minimizing it even more these days.
Right. It's backup. So
they
give you a socket set.
No. What it does,
it automatically comes in.
No, yeah, it's sort of spring-loaded. So if in case of any failure, it automatically snaps back in. So it's sort of, if the systems go off, the systems are designed to hold them apart. So if the systems go off, it'll actually spring-load reconnect, and then you've got proper steering again. So it's there.
I wonder how often that's ever been deployed.
Well, these cars are still new, so I don't think so.
It is a very cool party trick. So when we're on the Autodrome and you go over the rumble strips, everybody's seen racetracks, right?
Yes.
So racetracks have these strips on the side that you can see the cars riding up them, and they're quite harsh and nasty, and they're called ridges and bumps. So the idea is that they kind of slow the car down before it goes off the track and into the wilderness, right? And reminds the driver, hey, wake up, stay on the track. That's the idea of it. So Infiniti drove these cars on the rumble strips, and because it's electronic steering, the car should go bump, 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 bump. Well, the car did, but the steering just felt fine. The steering just stayed absolutely straight.
Wow.
It didn't shake, it didn't rattle.
Yeah.
So imagine when your car goes into a pothole, this won't transmit that nasty, horrible vibration to you at all. It just smooths it out. Wow. It's very, very strange.
I don't know if that's good or not.
Well, it's not exactly steering feel, is it?
That's not really there either.
No.
But this wasn't a bad car. I think they've really improved the handling compared to the previous car, because the previous car was a bit sort of all over the place. But they've really tightened up. It does actually have more feel now. So it's got this voodoo thing where it does actually have good, I wouldn't say feel, but it has better weight. And generally the car feels a bit tighter. It's not quite a sports sedan yet. But if you're in the market for this sort of car, you'd be a fool not to get the twin-turbo V6. There is a 4-cylinder version, turbo, to a 2-liter turbo, but the V6 is the one to get for sure.
Nosa wants to know what your thoughts are on the Ford Taurus 2013 in terms of performance and your general review of it. We never talk about a Ford Taurus.
That's because they're not very popular here. You just don't see any of them. They were sold here. They are here. I have tested them.
They used to be popular in the 90s.
Yeah, there is a review on motoringme.com, but
I've seen one or two on the road. They're so rare.
Yeah, it's not on the radar at all. So
it's like a Toyota Avalon then. It's a car that's just like, they sell that.
Yeah, they do sell it. It is here.
I wondered if they even sold those Avalons here still, because
I
see
did.
one.
They're mostly livery cars, but I think you do see a lot of them.
So the Taurus though it's a good vehicle. It's
a fine vehicle. Nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't buy a new one here because it just they're just not around and they're not popular. If you really, really have got your heart set on a Taurus, then get 1 year old or something like that, because the depreciation hit it's going to take is going to be pretty significant.
Now, I know you love the 300C SRT.
Oh.
I know you love it. But I love the body shape of the Ford Taurus, and every time I see the 300C, I kind of go, wish it looked more like a little more Taurus-y.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with my. I'm happy with the 300.
You're completely off base. But anyway, it's completely off.
But and we get the Taurus SHO version, which is the performance version. That is also officially sold here. Yeah, that was officially sold here. So they are around. So go and find them. Go and hunt one down.
That's a cheap performance bargain.
It's a very good value car. That actually very good value.
Twin turbo EcoBoost, a monster engine, 350 horsepower, but it's a lot more than 350. In the real world, it's really quick. But still get a 300C SRT.
Really?
Or even a 300C 5.7. Or even a 300C V6. I know somebody's supercharged one. It's bonkers. Why not? These are all really good, really fun cars.
I just don't like the way they look.
I mean, to each his own, but to own, is sublime.
There we go. So you're saying, go check out the Ford Taurus. It's a nice vehicle.
If you can find one.
You find one at the Ford dealer for sure.
They really aren't that common. They really aren't.
Zize wants to know, Challenger, Camaro, Mustang, which one to go for if I'm looking at a second-hand option?
Second-hand option. Well, I mean, this is the eternal question, isn't it?
It doesn't matter if it's second-hand or new.
Yeah, it's the muscle car, forever muscle car question.
Mustang.
Now, I was having a conversation today with somebody, and
Challenger, Camaro, Mustang.
Yeah, well, it's very simple in one sense.
It's very simple.
If you need that rear seat accommodation, there is now only one answer.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, and that is the Challenger, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the only one that gives you pretty decent. I can sit in the back seat, no problem at all.
And you still get a muscle car.
Yeah, and you get a muscle car coupe, and you get something that looks absolutely fabulous. Yeah. So you get that. But the other cars, the sizes have actually gone down, which is unusual in the car industry, because every time a new generation comes out, it's usually always bigger, longer, wider, whatever. But the Mustang and the new Camaro are both smaller cars than they used to be. So if that rear seat was important to you, then no, you need to go Challenger. If old school driving dynamics is important to you, again, go Challenger. if modern dynamics, modern sports car feel, and perhaps dare I say even more of a European sort of personality in these cars is what you're looking for, then look at the Mustang and the Camaro. The Mustang, by the way,
he's talking about second-hand cars.
The second-hand cars. Well, in the second-hand car, you can still get a Camaro with reasonable rear space then, because that is possible.
The new one isn't really spacious.
Yeah, the new one's not.
Sounds to me like he's listed the Challenger first, and probably that's the route he
If I was making a fast one, I like to modify my cars. I'd get the old Mustang because there's a ton of stuff for that car now. It's very mature platform. You can get all manner of parts, suspension improvements.
You wouldn't be tempted by the Camaro?
Yeah, it's equal the same. And I like both of them, but I like the Mustang in terms of modification potential. If you're getting a stock car off the showroom floor, I'd drive the Camaro because I think that's more resolved than the Mustang. That's a really nice car.
You wouldn't be tempted by the Challenger?
All of them are good.
They're all great cars.
They're all great. I'd like to have one of each. End of story.
If you're getting used, go for the most performance-orientated one that you can, because then when it comes to selling it on, it'll be easier. Yeah. If you get a V6 version or something, it's great. It's economical, no issues, but selling it on will be a bit of an issue.
So if you don't need the back seat, then you've got choice. If you need the back seat, there's only one car. That's the Challenger.
The Challenger is the most spacious car. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
What about the Charger?
Yeah, that's not coupe, and he didn't list that. So.
Yeah. But let's assume he wants a Charger. That's also a great choice.
No,
he just wants Challenger, Camaro, Mustang.
Yeah.
I love the Mustangs, but I'd just be so tempted to go with the Camaro if I didn't need the back seat. It would just, and there's no good reason why I would do that. I just like the Camaro.
But there's no good reason why you buy a muscle car.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no good reason. I think sense should not come into it at all.
These three cars are very much about emotion and passion, and that's what leads. So 1 minute you're thinking, I really want that Challenger, and then a Roush Mustang rolls past, revving its engine. You're like, God, I want one of those.
I like.
And then the ZL1 Camaro pulls up, and you're like, that's the one and you're like, I'm conflicted. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's exactly it.
I want a ZL1 Camaro.
Yeah. See, you see that Mustang.
I've made up my mind. I'm for sure.
The guy puts on a signal light, and you just see the way the lights work, and you just go, oh, I want one of those.
Yeah, totally.
And as soon as they put the pedal down, and you hear that boom,
boom. I mean, we're very fortunate in that all three of those cars are very charismatic cars. They're cultural icons, they're pop icons, and they just got a lot of style and a lot of fun about them as well. So
my problem is I know the Challenger is a muscle car, but I never think of it like that.
Yeah, and it's just cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other good thing about these cars, and it applies to all three of them, is that they are very active clubs here.
Right.
That will service each of these, and they do a lot of stuff. You get to do social activities, you get to do charity stuff. I went out with the Dodge Club over Ramadan, and they do charity iftars and stuff like that. So
I remember seeing those images.
Yeah. So that's another thing. When you're buying one of these cars, you're actually getting into a community. So it's fantastic.
Of the three, if I'm looking doing mods and all that, is the Mustang really the top of the heap for?
I think the Mustang, both of them are actually it's basically Mustang, Camaro, Challenger in terms of the biggest availability of parts. Mustang has been going for a long time. It's a very mature market. Camaro is behind, but not by a lot, because the 5th gen Camaro was a very popular car for modification as well. So you can make a 5th gen Camaro handle, stop properly, go faster, sound better. Everything can be done. And actually, overall, I think it will be very tight, because the Camaro is a really good platform for if you're track stuff. If you're doing that kind of thing, Camaro. But as a sort of a road car, the Mustang is a really fun car to play with. And the Challenger is, again, a smaller aftermarket because it's kind of well set up from the factory. You don't get that many people messing around. I mean, people put stripes, and that doesn't really count. We're talking like modification. Yeah. People don't modify Challengers because they're really just nice cars out of the box. I wouldn't really modify a Challenger. They're really good cars. They're really comfortable. Why would you mess with it?
Motoring Middle East is in the house. This is Cartalk. Motoring Middle East is in the house. Shahzad is even covering his mouth, but I know when he covered it, Imtishan, he was doing the boom, boom, boom.
You mean boom, boom, boom?
Oh, there we go.
I'm taking over. It's a coup.
4001 is the SMS line.
The torch has been passed.
Question has come through from Shiraz has come through and said, "Hey guys, just loving the show, by the way."
Oh, thank you.
She wants to know, should I upgrade my Safran 2012 to a Talisman, or do you have any other suggestions? So these are both Renault products.
They're Renaults, yes. For people wondering what is a Safran and what is a Talisman, they are Renaults. Yes, that's what they are. And Renaults are French vehicles.
Anything else, Captain?
Just so I'd add that in,
Now, this is interesting because I'm looking at the Talisman.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, based on the price that you've got for what you were reviewing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Malibu.
Yeah. I should just say that
really hard to not head down.
Well, this
route.
is the thing. I did say it was French cars, but actually the Talisman is based on what?
Samsung SM6,
which makes it a
Korean car.
I never even heard of a Samsung.
Well, there you go. See, and this is not something that explodes when you charge it. Ooh, sorry, I shouldn't have said.
Blow. That was wrong show also.
But anyway, so the point is that what I would say to this person is that if he's a stickler and loyal to the Renault brand, then by all means, it's a bigger, newer car.
Let him stick with the car. He's happy with the brand. He's happy. He knows the cars.
If you want to do that, then absolutely, why not? And I've seen billboards up for this thing, so they must be having great offers on it right now. Yeah. But having said that, if you want to look at something in the same segment, brand new, fresh, then you should look at the car that, for example, I tested earlier today, which I think was fantastic, and probably will come in at about the same money. So that would definitely be worth a look. Yeah.
Renault's got some great cars, I got to say, and I saw today.
You know what? It's very strange because we just had the Paris Motor Show, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big motor show.
The Big Daddy.
Yeah. It's one of the big shows in the world.
Biggest shows, right?
And normally what I do, the way we cover these shows, is that we're sitting at our computer because we have a database of press releases that come into us from the automotive industry, and you can refresh it, and the latest press releases and images are added to it, and that's where we can get our information, and then we can pass on that information to our readers. And normally at a motor show, it's coming in so fast that
you can't keep up with it.
Yeah, we struggle to keep up with it. We're like, oh, one story done. Oh my God, there's 3 more stories. And the thing is, this weekend I was trying to do that for the Paris show.
Yeah.
I did about 4 stories.
I thought the show was cancelled.
And and then I thought that database was broken because I kept pressing refresh and there was nothing there. And I'm like, what's going on? This is the
one
Paris
of the world's
Motor Show.
biggest motor show. I mean, the only thing I can follow was that the Discovery came out on a silly, and they had a separate event in the UK which distracted attention from the motor show because they built a Lego thing and people parachuted on top of it.
Yeah, Lego Tower Bridge.
That's very Land Rover these days.
So we're talking about Renault, we're talking about France, and so you got Renault, you got Citroën, you got Peugeot. What were they doing? Why weren't they bigging up their own show? And because the only stars of the Paris Motor Show, that as far as I could tell, was the Discovery, some jumped up Honda Civic with lots of creaks,
just a nonsense car,
and creases and stuff on it.
I thought you guys would love that car when I saw that.
There was a very nice Nissan Micra, I got to say, a very pretty little car, which we're not likely to get. And there was a lovely little thing called the Suzuki Ignis.
That's my star of the show. Yeah. Forget the Discovery. The Suzuki Ignis was the cutest, most fantastic. I'd buy that car.
Yeah, but where are all the really crazy, funky French stylist cars from Peugeot and Citroën? What happened to them? I don't know what happened.
They're all sitting agape and watching the Suzuki Ignis and the Nissan Micra and thinking, gosh, we've just been upstaged by 2 tiny city cars.
Yeah, from Japan.
I mean, Google the Suzuki Ignis. It is a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the Micra, and I'm like, wow,
the Micra actually, you would suddenly be like, you know what, I suddenly fancy a Micra, because it looks really cool. It looks very, very good indeed. Yeah.
That Suzuki Ignis is
it's
really
very
cool.
Nice, yeah.
That Micra is amazing.
The Suzuki Ignis combines the original Vitara shape with a very early Suzuki Coupe. I can't remember the name of it, but it had that slatted
Servo,
grille.
I think it's called.
Yeah, that's the one.
Suzuki Servo.
It had a sort of hatchback coupe shape with a slatted grille, very distinctive, and it sort of combined the styling elements of those 2 cars to bring you the new Ignis. I think that's a fabulous car. I hope that comes there because I'd love to give it a go. Yeah. But where were the French at their own motor show? I don't understand what's going on.
Where is everybody at these motor show? Like, where are the concepts? Where are the Germans? Where are the Americans? Oh wait, they don't come to Paris. They couldn't be bothered because they have their own stuff now. And motor shows as a whole, their popularity is sort of moving away.
Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder what's happening to motor shows.
I'm glad that we still have a great Dubai show. The Dubai show is still a real, I think, a big event. It's a landmark moment.
We need to do the show from the show.
Yeah. Well, I heard that they had a fantastic live show at the Dubai Motor Show with 2
these
wonderful
guys were just
yeah.
knocking it out of the park night after night.
Absolutely.
They were rolling.
I heard the same thing.
Standing room only. It was amazing.
You guys did the stellar job. So.
Oh well. And we don't like to blow our own.
Yes, we don't do that very much.
Gentlemen, we've run out of time on this show.
No, just because we were blowing our own trumpet.
Next week we'll be back, same place, same time.
We're going to talk about the Ram next week.
We're going to talk about the Ram.
Cool.
It's out in the parking lot. I'm looking forward to seeing that thing.
It's mental.
Just the teaser was Imtishan was doing 120 on plus, and then decided just to take it right off road and outran the Jeep off road as well.
Yeah, no, we were on tarmac.
No, but then he said he was off road with
this
thing.
He was off road. We were on tarmac, and he was still going. Yeah, and he was still going quicker. Yeah.
So there we go. Awesome. Next week, full review of that puppy. Looking forward to it. And of course, if you want to find out what these guys are up to all throughout the week, go to social media, Motoring Middle East. Go to motoringmiddleeast.com, and you'll see everything that they do, as well as the buyer's guide is there.
And buyer's guide is there. It's a full guide, so it breaks down all the new cars that we've tested in terms of price and category. So you can go and look and say, I've got this amount of money and I want an SUV. What are the options? It's all there.
Yeah, there we go. This is Cartalk doing it all again next week. Same place, same time. Cheers, guys.
See you then.